everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're so excited today. We are here to talk about the countdown to summer movies. And I'm Rachel, and we have a very special guest. We have Liana and Megan from the Hunks of Hallmark Instagram and Twitter. So thanks so much, girls, for coming on the podcast.
Anytime.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Your podcasts always do very, very well. So this, I think, is our...
We love doing them.
It's so much fun. And I think this is our fourth time, if I'm not mistaken. So the last time was when we were recapping the pre-spring movies, I think is what it was. Yes. Yeah. So that was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah. And now we're talking about the countdown to summer. So evidently we're just like in the intermittent periods with time. But yeah, so how have you all been?
We've been doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping busy, watching movies. Yeah, getting ready for summer.
Yeah, getting ready for, I guess we already had one. Well, by the time this airs, we will have already had 2 June Brides movies. And yeah, is it a favorite season of yours, the June Brides?
Some of them are. I mean, my all-time favorite is the fall harvest ones.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, the wedding ones, I'll watch them.
Yeah. They're usually not my favorite, but every once in a while they turn out a good one. I really liked Love at First Dance last year. So, and there's some promising ones looking up this, of course, this last weekend we'll have had a Wedding March 5. So that's always exciting.
Yes, another Wedding March.
Yeah.
Well, it has Tyler Hines in it, so yes.
It's true.
And that is exciting. That will get us
and Lane
marching
Edwards.
Down the aisle.
And Lane
That'll
Edwards.
Get all the Heinies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Well, you guys have been doing a great job with your Instagram. You never fail to crack me up.
Thank you.
Liana, with your captions are the best. I love them.
Thank
so
you.
much.
I'm here to please everybody.
Yeah, you do a great job.
Thanks.
You guys still enjoying doing it, or it's not gotten old hat at all? You still enjoying it?
Yeah, we're still having fun with it. It hasn't gotten old at all. And everyone's really nice on it too, so it makes it that much more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's really fun. So, all right. Well, we're going to dive in to these 5 summer movies. And what do you think of this idea of this countdown to summer as a theme?
I mean, I don't mind it. We're in June and we saw them all in May. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems all right. I like them.
The only thing that and I've said this before on the podcast, but to me, how could they not have at least one movie with an actual teacher? Because not the teacher that we get, which is ridiculous, but like a real teacher, because they're the only people counting down to summer.
This is true. This
right?
is very true.
Because anybody else is just a normal day of your job. You're not counting down.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
They need to have one movie. If they do this again next year, which I still think they should have a pause and purrs month and just do a whole bunch of...
Oh, that's cute.
Right? Have just a whole
I think this needs to be replaced. We need that.
That's right. If you're listening, Hallmark Channel, pause and purrs month or May instead of countdown to summer, because it just doesn't make any sense. It's just basically your catch-all month. And it's like May is grab bag month, which is fine. But anyway, I actually thought it was a pretty fun group of movies. There's one that I didn't care for, but the rest I quite enjoyed. And I feel like maybe I'm being a little bit nicer than what I'm hearing from people online, that a lot of them didn't care for these movies. And maybe I was just in a good mood. I don't know. But We'll see. And there is one that I didn't care for, and I just want to say, I know it's hard making movies, so please don't get your feelings hurt. We're just trying to do our job and have fun doing it. So I just want to say that out front, please. Don't mean to hurt anyone's feelings, but we'll try to be as nice and fun about it as we can. So anyway, the first one that we had is Paris, Wine, and Romance. And this movie had the huge challenge of being a wine movie with your leading lady being very obviously pregnant. That was a huge challenge. And of course, it stars Jen Lilly and then Dan Giannette, who is on The Good Witch. Did you guys watch Good Witch? I can't remember.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Yeah, so this was fun for him to get a lead role in one of these movies. It was kind of fun to see Brandon get his day in the sun. Who knew he had such a compelling French accent? We had no idea.
Oh God, I loved it.
Yeah. But what were your overall thoughts on this one? What do you think, Liana?
I liked it a lot. I couldn't get over the accents really because they were so funny to me. Not that they were bad, they were just funny.
Right.
And but overall, I liked it. Yes, she was very pregnant during the movie, so there's that whole aspect. But it was fine, and I liked it. It was funny and cute.
Yeah. What about you, Megan?
I also enjoyed the movie. I loved the accents too. Jacques, he made me swoon. He was the nicest wine guy ever. And when that one scene, the elevator scene, when he kissed her on the cheek and she went in the elevator, just got me. It was really good. I liked that one. I mean, their misunderstanding towards the end where the brother Maurice was wearing the badge. I wish she had read the article or something sooner to avoid missing a night out in Paris with Jacques, but it is what it is. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. I thought they did actually a pretty good job of using close-up shots and very flowy wardrobe to cover up, and lots of like big clutches and things. They did a pretty good job of hiding, especially when she posted on Instagram, like how she really was. Like I was like, wow, they did a pretty good job. I'm notorious for being terrible at seeing. Like I'm an easy get, but it was pretty obvious. But they did about as good a job as you could do, I think. And so it was fine. And Jen Lilly's just so delightful that it was fine. Yeah, all worked fine. And it was funny to me when she first meets Jacques. He has this obvious French accent, and he's like, oh, my name is Jacques, and she says, oh, I didn't know you were from France. I'm like, I would think the accent would be the first clue, not his name.
Yeah, or Jacques.
Yeah. I also loved how it was hilarious how she kept giving out those giant bottles of wine as like tips for random people. It's like, oh, yes. Nice to meet you. Here's a bottle of wine.
I know. When could we cross paths with her? I want a bottle of wine.
Yeah. But don't have table wine. I've learned now that is the ultimate insult to be called.
Yes, apparently.
Yeah. How dare you? I typically really dislike the wine movies on Hallmark because I just don't care about wine at all. And they can just get a little lost in. Like, it's kind of bizarre that there's this whole genre of Hallmark movies all about wine. Like, what? But
they all love the wine. They love drinking wine.
They do.
I don't blame them.
Yeah. uh, and but what did you think of? They had kind of two meet cutes between Isabella and Jacques, with her getting his clothes, his luggage, and so they have a little meet cute there, and then down in the hotel bar, their little thing where she insults their wine. And what did you think about that?
I liked when she thought he was when he came upstairs to exchange the luggage, and she thought he was the what do they call them,
like bellhop,
the Melda
bellhop.
Yeah.
bellhop, yeah. I thought that was cute, and
That's
she was all giving him wine and
Yeah.
trying to tip him, and he's like, no.
I'm like, how
But
many cases
I
did you
like that.
bring with her? Just giving this away. Yeah, that's true. That was really funny. And I think they had pretty good chemistry. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with the chemistry. It flowed really well between them, and they were both just so cute, and they both made me believe it.
Yeah, I think so. Did you think that they used Paris enough? And was it inside too much?
I think it was enough. They had their exterior shots enough to know that it's Paris, and they did do the little tour together that Jacques gave Isabelle the tour. But yeah, I thought they used it enough.
Yeah.
They utilized Paris probably as much as they could in their time limit.
Yeah. I liked the whole scene with them having lunch in the Eiffel Tower, and then you had that selfie in Notre Dame, which, especially considering what happened, that ended up being pretty cool scene, memorable.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. And so then you also have her best friend there, who's this clothing designer. And I do have to say, I think that it was effective in covering up the baby bump, but that jacket or whatever was so ugly. I'm like, what is this designer? Oh my gosh. But I guess they did the best they could.
The pink one?
The salmon colored.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was pink.
Yeah, it was salmonish. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. Didn't do anything for Jen Lilly. But the final dress, and she walks in, was really well done, and she had like this big clutch kind of covering things, so it worked really well.
Yeah, the final dress was stunning.
Yeah,
and it covered her little bump pretty well.
Yeah. And then her and her friend, she's obviously a model or something, like not just an actress. She was beautiful. She was really pretty.
Stunning.
Yeah.
And
so her friend is dating this chef, Luke, I think his name was, and so you kind of get a little introduction to them, and there's this they have the little cheek kiss by the elevator scene after their little first little after he realizes the depth of her wine, how great it is. It was great. I loved that cheek kiss scene. It was so fun. Yeah. I also just loved the fact that her efficiency or proficiency at wine also carried over to perfume, which I didn't know was a thing.
Oh yeah. That's all I have to say. Yeah.
But she must be really amazing. I mean, I would probably give Jen Lilly free stuff, but she's over there because she's so charming. She's over there in Paris, and people are just giving her free perfume. But I was saying on Twitter that I wished that they had done a crossover where we'd gotten the people from Love Blossoms running remember that one from Hallmark about the perfume?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that have been good?
Been cool.
Yeah, that's right. They need to think about these things, Hallmark.
They need to hire you.
They could have Victor Webster there. It would be perfect.
My favorite. I'll be watching if this happens.
Yeah, it would have been so good.
Yeah.
Or they could at least had the same name or something like that. That would have been fun. But anyway, I loved the whole, like, you're feeling all sad because he's not going to make it to the date. And then, boom, he shows up looking handsome. Like, that was so fun.
Yes.
Because she's all sad and disappointed, but trying to not sound so. And then he shows up, and it was so fun, I thought. And then it was just so cute. And then they eat the snails. And would you guys eat snails?
We had this conversation, and I said that I would, but only in France.
Yeah, same.
Same with you, Megan. Well, I mean, for somebody that handsome, I probably would, but I don't know. You figure you could give anything a shot one time. Why not? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's the rule.
Yeah. But I also loved the whole, when he tells her, well, I didn't come for the food or whatever. I came to be with you. That was very swoon worthy. And then when they're walking home and he gives her his coat, which was so cute.
He was making everyone swoon. He was so good at everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, the line where I came for you, I melted a little bit.
It was so good. It kind of reminded me, this movie, a little bit of French Kiss with Meg Ryan and Kevin Kline. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. It's a little underrated, I would say, of rom-coms. Oh, well. Yeah, it's a little more mature, certainly than Hallmark, but there's but it's pretty good. It's not R-rated, but it's PG-13. So
I'll add it on my list.
Yeah, it's good. And you have Kevin Kline giving his French accent. Yeah. But anyway, I thought that was so cute. I love that I just love that in life when men give their significant other their suit coat. I think it's just so cute.
Romantic. Yes.
Yeah, it's so cute. So then we get this whole crisis at the wine competition, and all the bottles are destroyed. What's going to happen? And so I loved, it was just like this little moment that I loved when he calls her his little bulldog.
Oh yeah,
my little bulldog. It's like, oh, we're already at pet names. This is so cute.
They moved fast.
They did. I mean, it's Paris. What are you gonna do? And and she goes to Luke's restaurant, gets the box of wine there, and they rush to make the deadline for the competition, and so that was pretty fun. And were you surprised she didn't win the competition?
No. I figured she'd place in the top 3, but I didn't think that they would give it to her, first place to her. Mm-hmm. Because he's also this big name in the wine industry. So I figured him or his brother would have won it.
Mm-hmm. I like, in a normal script, I would agree with that, but I was surprised a little bit by Hallmark doing it, because I was just, I don't know, it just seems like they typically kind of lean in to the heroine.
Yeah.
So I was kind of pleasantly surprised that they had her get the silver medal. And I laugh on Twitter. I said, there's an old Jerry Seinfeld skit about the silver medal that he does, or bit or whatever routine. He's like, I would rather finish last than get the silver medal. He's like, getting the silver medal is like saying, congratulations, you almost won.
Yeah.
Which I think is so funny. And it's like, because she says, if you get the bronze, well, you figure, oh, at least I got something. That's silver medal. Anyway, but she's pretty excited, as most people, of course, would be, especially your first time. And then we get this whole scene on the balcony, and we find out that the city of lights is not the city of light is not about the lights. I did not know this. Did either of you know this?
I did not. So
No.
I'm learning. I had no idea. I thought it was because of the lights. And it's because according to Hallmark movies, at least according to this movie, it's about there were like Renaissance and enlightenment, I guess. So that's fun. And you get this kiss.
Interesting.
Yeah, you get this kiss on the balcony, and that was really great, very romantic. And then she finds out that he quotation marks called her wine table wine, and she is furious. And she is pissed. Yeah, she is very mad. I mean, I don't drink wine. Do you know the difference between table wine? Is it just like low?
I mean, I drink wine, but I'm not this connoisseur or anything like that. But I mean, you can every now and then I can taste the difference between a really, really good wine and like table wine.
Yeah,
I hate to be that person, but yes.
You wouldn't be insulted though if somebody called your wine table wine.
No, no, so then I get drink.
Yeah, she doesn't even talk to him. It was kind of groan-worthy, but whatever.
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah. And so she's really upset, and she goes back home, and he is just a man in love. He can't function. His family is very concerned. I loved all of that. That was great. And then he figures it out that because she's not answering his calls. And he figures it out that there was this miscommunication because the evil journalist guy was pretty fun. I liked him. He was good.
Yeah, he was funny.
Yeah, he was. And you knew as soon as you saw him, you knew he was a villain because he had his shirt buttoned up to the top, and he had a bow tie, which was the biggest clue. Because
that's a sure sign.
Yeah, because usually the Hallmark guys have unbuttoned shirts and are more like casual, kind of thing. Very rare are they in a tux. And anyway, he was definitely a scoundrel, but he was very, very fun, I thought. And he interviewed the brother, but then the brother had his brother's name badge on, and it was just a whole bunch of craziness. And yeah, and then she goes home, and she ends up getting these great deals for the vineyard and everything, but she's just kind of sad. And then he appears, and he's taking notes for When Calls the Heart because he has a million candles there. And so that was pretty good. It was pretty romantic, I would say. So yeah, this one was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It had its cheesiness, it had its silliness, but that's all part of the fun, in my opinion. Yeah. And so I give this one 4.25 crowns. And I have it currently at 9th place in my ranking for the year. And so definitely made top 10. What about you, Liana? How many crowns would you give this one?
I gave it 4 crowns.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I liked it a lot. It was very cute. And it was fun and funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Megan, what about you?
I will give it 4.1 stars.
Very good. All right. Good. Okay. Next,
we have stars. So.
Yeah. Perfect. Next, we had A Feeling of Home, and this starred Jonna Walsh and Nathan Parsons, and had Robbie Benson, which I was very excited about because he hasn't done a live action role for a little while that I'm aware of, at least, and he is the voice of the Beast in Beauty and the Beast, and so I'm a huge Robbie Benson fan, and so it was kind of fun. And I actually just saw him at a panel at our local Comic-Con, Fan X it's called, and so it was pretty fun then to see him in this movie playing her dad. And I think that the biggest strength of this movie was the cast. I liked all of them. I thought they all were charming, and I thought that Nathan Parsons was pretty dreamy, and it had its issues we'll talk about, but I liked the relationship between Robbie Benson and Jonna Walsh. I thought there was some nice moments there. I know it seems like people really hated it, but it had its issues, but I didn't think it was awful, is basically my overall thoughts. What about you, Liana? What were your overall thoughts on this one?
It wasn't my favorite,
Yeah.
but I agree with Nathan Parsons being very dreamy, and I did enjoy his very tight jeans.
Yeah.
But overall, it was fine. I mean, I liked it. I watched it, and it was okay.
Yeah. What about you, Megan? What do you think?
I'm on the same boat. I just thought it was okay. Not my favorite out of the countdown, but I do love the Texas feel, even though it wasn't filmed in Texas, but I love the theme. I love barbecue. I did want to eat barbecue after watching it. Nathan Parsons, I hope he's in more movies because he was great.
Yeah. It was so funny to be in this movie. You would think that all of New England had never seen a farm in the history of New England, and that they were all like uppity people.
Bougie.
Yeah, that's right. At Yale or something. Like they're all
Yes.
What is going on? It was
like
hilarious.
Everyone wears pearl necklaces.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody in the whole multi-state region. That was really funny. I'm like, yeah, there are actually farms and ranches and stuff in New England, believe it or not. But it kind of reminded me of watching Chesapeake Shores and being like, these Canadians have no idea, because I grew up in Maryland. I'm like, these people have no idea what's going on. But anyway, my biggest issue with this movie was I just felt like they treated her pretty badly. I felt like they treated her like she was stupid. And here she's given up of her time to help her father and to serve on the ranch. And I just felt like they were so patronizing and really rude to her. But here, like, she's given up a very busy time of her career. She's spending 2 weeks to help. You think you'd be a little nicer? That's how I felt.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Well, so her dad was a little self-loathing, a bit. Yeah. And I guess that just adds into their relationship, or the problem that she thought was in their relationship.
Yeah, and it does feel like, did she grow up there, or like what? How does she not know how to do any of this stuff? Like, they grew up
I
in
didn't
the
get that either.
Town. I mean, you think she'd know how to like rope things and know how to whatever? Like, it was sort of weird, but
yeah, I mean, you would think she would know what to wear,
right?
If she grew up there. And that thing that she ate that was like the chicken food, like, haven't you seen that before?
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So maybe she deserved their disdain. I don't know. But
well, she just needed to remember. I don't know. I guess it's been a while.
It seems like the kind of thing that once it's in your bones, like, you never forget how to do some of that stuff. But what do I know? Maybe you don't. But I don't know. I just felt like they could have been a little more grateful for her, what she's doing. And, I mean, she even fixes the the spigot thing with her headphones.
Headphones.
I mean, it's very creative. You got to give her that.
Very MacGyver.
Yes, it is. That's a good way to describe it. It was very MacGyver. Yes. I was also very impressed with how quickly she got this barbecue sauce business up and running. That was pretty impressive.
Right? Yes. It was like in mass production in 0.5 seconds.
Yeah. She had labels and bottles and stuff like that. It was pretty good.
She went to town.
Ready to go for the festival. It was pretty good. And I did like the scene. You're right. The dad character was kind of brooding, but I did like the scene where he talks to her about how much he loves her and shows her the pictures, and so that was very sweet. And
maybe he was being a little beastish. Now that I think about it,
she might even say, "Then go ahead and starve." I would have died laughing. But yeah. So yeah, then the whole, like, first of all, I don't really understand the need to tell this lie to the boss because even if she's pretending to be a New Englander, you don't have to, like, you can pretend to the audience, but there's no reason to pretend to the boss. And so you just say, "Oh, I'm trying to advertise myself as being from New England," like to your boss. I mean, it is very Christmas in Connecticut-ish, which is a movie I love where she lies, but about that. But there's actually like reasons, because it was made in the 40s. She had to pretend to be a housewife. But I don't know. It was bonkers. And then they end up getting the whole crew down there and shooting all of these Texas videos, and she comes clean, and her little manager lady was crazy. But
she was funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And they advertised Mary Margaret Humes in this. She was seriously in maybe 2 minutes of this movie.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. She had one scene and that was it.
Yeah. I was like, what? That was weird. But anyway, I give this movie 2.5 crowns, and I have it at 27. We've watched 37 movies so far for Hallmark, so that's where I have it at 27.
Okay.
What about you? How many crowns did you give it, Megan?
I give it 2 crowns.
Okay, good. And Liana?
I give the movie 2 crowns, but I give Nathan 4 crowns.
Okay, good. All right. Next, we had Sailing into Love, and this stars Chris McNally and Leah Renee, and it basically is kind of half Save the Island story and half wedding party planner, bride, 27 dresses, whatever story. And would you agree with me that the 27 dresses story part was way better than the Save the Island part?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, and how do we feel? Do you think that we could safely say that Chris McNally is the current king of Hallmark?
Oh, he's definitely up there. Yeah.
This movie, and it's directed by Lee Friedlander, who is a friend of the podcast. We love her. And she did so much service to all of us who love Chris McNally. There were so many shots of just panning up on him and then holding it for like a ridiculous amount of time just so we could just stare at him. It was great.
I know, and the wind blowing in his hair, like, so
the
good.
dimples, we were sold.
It was so good. I was like, thank you, Lee. That's what I kept saying this whole time. And I liked Leah Renee. I thought that she was a pretty good match for Chris McNally. And I enjoyed her. I think she's better in this than in her first. I liked her first think it was Love by the Book, I think is what it was called, which I liked, but I think that this one is better.
Yeah, I liked her too. I thought they were cute together.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, a lot of people don't like her voice for some reason, but I thought she was fine.
Yeah.
Like I didn't notice anything.
Yeah, me either. I thought she was really cute. And so they have this meet cute at the start where they end up spilling fish guts and stuff on each other, and she like saves him from getting in the water. And that was pretty fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I like
but you know, it would have
too.
been funny to see him, or pretty cute to see him all wet.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
minded that. But also, I would pull him in like that too, because she basically grabbed him from the butt.
That's right.
She went full force, and I'm not mad at her.
You only get so many opportunities with Chris McNally.
It's true.
That's very true. So what did we think of her ex? Was he hot or not?
I think he was, but also wasn't. I don't know how to explain it. He was very attractive. He's an attractive man. But he's also trying to take her island away from her.
Right. I think he was, when he's all buttoned up, again, expression of villainy. But when there was like, I can't remember if it was in a gym or somewhere where he was like casual. He was looking all casual. And like, he is very hot. Casual look. I'm like, he needs to be he could be very easily a lead and be I could totally
he could be a trainer in the movie.
Yes. Like Christopher Palloa better watch out, because this guy could take this part, I think.
Well, girl.
I know, it's scandalous. But
just teasing.
But no, I thought that it was really funny, because I'm like, I can't quite, what about this guy? And then when he was in his casual, I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's handsome. But anyway, so she is going to be in 3 weddings for 3 of her friends in, like, is it 1 weekend or is it 3 weekends in a row? 3 weekends in a row, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 3 weekends in a row.
Yeah. And that sounds like my nightmare. It would be but all 3 of the brides were all nice. No bridezillas.
Yes.
Which I appreciated. And it did seem like they were pretty good friends. And I could have just had to be just the wedding stuff. I really could have. I think you could have expanded that, and because I thought that she had pretty cute, relationships with all of them, and they were sort of, it was pretty fun. And but the first wedding, so his friend invites him to the wedding, and he tells her that you owe me a real dance, and then he gives her that rose. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Smooth. Yeah, it was. It was really good. I'm like, how is she not like already just in love with him? I don't know. But
yeah, I fell in love right when we got to call him Captain.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, throughout the whole movie, I kept saying, "Oh, Captain, my Captain."
Yeah, and he's like, nobody messes with the Navy. Like, I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
It was so good, and so yes. Then we have this whole scene. Have you ever seen a movie that had about a teacher that had less teaching than in this movie? I was just like, what is going on? And then there was this bonkers scene with one of her students, because they've just shown some of her students are literally in scuba wear. Like, and then this guy gets thrown overboard and he needs to be rescued. Like, what? What is this class? It was so funny. And we get, I think this is actually our second I might be getting out of order, but it's our second time that we have movie fall, what I call a movie fall in this movie, where the first time they're on the boat together and things get jostled around and then they end up just in each other's arms, which I just love when that happens in movies because it's so ridiculous, but I think it's so funny. And in this one, they have this rescue and she literally somehow lands on top of him. It's great.
She did it again, my girl.
It was so good.
She did.
Yeah. And Lee did such a great job like capturing those kind of moments. Like I loved when they were driving the boat and you just see him like put his hand or on top of her hand, like smooth.
It grazed.
This guy's smooth. Yeah. So then wedding 2, they have she's kind of mad at him. And
yeah,
they have this really great dance scene together. And then she tells him that, oh, how dare you? How could you accept this deal made by the ex to build this hotel he's going to have the ferry boats or I don't know, something about that. And I'm like, come on. You know, he's not going to make that deal. Plus, you can't be mad at him for just considering it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But also, I had a problem with that whole upset because she found out about this so-called deal before the wedding, but it was also after she had invited him to the wedding.
Yeah.
Why would you let him come to a stranger's wedding if you're going to be mad at him throughout the entire night and not let him explain himself?
Yeah, and I guess she originally invited him so that she could make the ex jealous, right?
Yeah, but then the ex said, oh, he might take this deal, or he didn't say no before the wedding happened. Obviously, she was upset with him at the wedding. Why would you let him show up to a random person's wedding when you're upset with him and not going to talk to him? How uncomfortable.
That is a very valid point, because there would be nothing worse than going to somebody you don't even know's wedding, unless it's, I can't even think of any time.
Unless it was open bar and open cake.
Yeah. I guess if you're a wedding crasher, I don't know, but it would be the worst.
Well, he was there for the cake. He was like, the cake's there. I'm there.
Yeah. But I really love how lately on Hallmark Channel, they are putting in these little date sequences. I've noticed ever since Christmas in Grand Valley, which I loved the date in that movie. It was perfect. But I really like it. I like these little dates. I loved it in Just Add Romance when they have their little date, and it was so good. And so this was really good, this whole date that they had. I thought they go to the lighthouse, and that was like really romantic and really good. And then he takes her to the boat, and he's bought dinner, and it was really, I just like that whole sequence. I thought was really good.
Yeah, I agree. I love the date. An early kiss as well on the boat, right? Was it on the boat?
Yes, it was on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, although I didn't like that they talked about her ex-boyfriend during dinner, but that's beside the point. But I love the date.
Sure. What do you think, Megan?
I loved the date on the boat, and then they were just chatting under the stars. It was sweet.
It was really, really good. And then we find out that she's won, and there's not going to be an evil resort, and everything's going to be great. And we get to wedding 3, and the ex asks her, but you've got Chris McNally in his uniform, his Navy uniform. I'm like, yeah, good luck. Good luck there, Mr. X. And I loved, it was so brilliant when they kiss, and all of a sudden it sort of pans out. I guess Lee told me that it's called a match cutaway, but it was brilliant.
Wow.
Pulls back and then pulls forward, and it's their wedding. It was so good. I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
That was so
Super
good.
cute.
Yeah. So, So how many crowns would you give this one? How about you, Liana?
I give it 5 crowns.
Oh, perfect score. Look at that, huh?
Yes, I loved it a lot.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was so good. Megan, what about you?
4.5 crowns.
Very good. And I am going to give it 4.5 as well. And I have it at number 7 in my ranking. So pretty high. This was a good stretch for me. I actually have 3 movies in my top 10 from this grouping.
Oh, nice.
So I know. So then we had Love in the Sun. And this one stars Emirate Tobia. Sorry if I said that name wrong. And then Tom Madden. And it's about, she's this woman who's designed this app because she was in love with this high school boyfriend person, and he moved up to Chicago, and that was not working out. And so she designs this app. And so the thing about this movie is that the app is ridiculous. The app, I mean, let's just start there. There were, again, I don't want to be mean. I know people work really hard, but the app, every app is based on where you live. What? Like, that doesn't, how is this a revolutionary concept in a dating app? What? I didn't understand. Did you understand?
I agree
No.
with you.
You're totally valid. It was really ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, this is going national, and like, imagine a dating app based on where you live.
On your zip code.
Yeah. What? Like, I can't think of a dating app where you don't first search by where you live.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. But the other thing that I could definitely tell is I heard from somewhere, I can't remember if it was on Twitter or whatever, that this movie was originally going to be in Hawaii. And it was obvious because Hawaii and Florida are not the same. And like Steen's like putting the flower behind the ear and stuff like that. Like that was just so,
Right.
that was like very Hawaiian. Like if you were doing Florida, you would have more like Cuban feel, more, those kind of things are more Florida. And I mean, it's a nitpick, I guess, but it was just kind of funny. I'm like, it was just so obvious that it was supposed to be in Hawaii to me.
Yeah, I agree.
But what did you guys think of this one? What do you think, Megan, overall?
This not my favorite. The leading actor, I'm sorry. I didn't feel any chemistry with him. Poor Kai.
Mm-hmm.
I felt more chemistry with the dad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I liked parts of it, maybe the lanterns and such, but it really wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, Liana, do you agree?
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite as well. I did like that they opened with Weezer's "Holiday in the Sun," but Kai was giving me all sorts of Stage 5 Klinger vibes because he just kept popping up everywhere that she was. Like out of nowhere, he would round the corner and boom, and he did a lot of shoulder shrugging, which is fine, but I just had to add that.
Well, and he seemed so much younger than her. Like she seemed like a real adult, and he seemed, I don't know, he seemed like a child. Like
I think they were trying to make him laid back, and I didn't get the laid back vibe.
Yeah.
And she obviously did not like her boyfriend.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So the wrong guy proposes, and what did you think though of this fiance character? I thought that he was actually kind of sweet. I like the fact that he had the ring and a golf ball that was cute, and he was pretty thoughtful. I mean, he comes down there to visit and check up on her, and just because he bought the wrong ring size, that's not like death to a couple. Like, what is going on?
Yeah. Well, I agreed that he was a very sweet boyfriend / short-lived fiance.
Yeah.
But she was disappointed with the proposal as he was proposing, not even the ring size. I think she was just settling with him. But even when she told her friend about the proposal, the friend was cringing. It was just uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was, I guess, but I don't know. I thought that he was pretty I thought that he was pretty okay. And since I didn't feel a whole lot of chemistry between her and this Kai guy, I was kind of, I don't know, I was inclined to be like, is there really that much more chemistry between them and this other, her and this other dude? I don't know.
In all honesty, I didn't feel any chemistry with her and anyone else. Maybe with her dad at best.
Yeah.
But because they had a cute relationship, but there was no chemistry.
Yeah.
At least I didn't feel it between her and Evan or her and Kai.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I just didn't feel like the acting was as strong as it normally is, which I think affected the chemistry. And it's kind of bizarre that someone would own an inn and not have any internet access or phones, like their cell phone service. Like, where is this in Florida? I'm pretty sure everywhere in Florida has internet access.
Yes. Like, unless you're like in the Bermuda Triangle, like nothing's happening.
And like, what a weird strategy to say, I'm not going to contact my daughter so that she will eventually be compelled to come down and visit. What?
Oh, Dad.
Like, that was an interesting strategy.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure what he's been living on. Did they say that? Because what he's been living on, because the inn has been not functioning, so I'm not sure what he's been doing, but anyway, and you find out that Kai has been building these kayaks, and she thinks, oh, it's just like a little business or whatever, and you also find out that he went up to Chicago and he just couldn't take it in Chicago. And they start to sort of remodel the inn, and you're right, he's there, paintbrush in hand.
Popping up.
I did think that the Lantern Festival was kind of a fun sequence, and I love the ocean, so all the ocean's cinematography was beautiful. Anyway, of course, it turns out that he actually has this giant kayak company. It's a huge thing. And so she ends up ditching the fiance and it ends up with Kai. And she decides to change the app because it's not accurate. It needs to not be based on location like every app known to man. It needs to be based on something better, something more. So there you go. But yeah, this one didn't work for me. I don't know. I'm gonna give it 1.5 crowns. I'm sorry, all involved, but it just didn't work for me really at all. I have it at last place, 37.
Well, I don't blame you because I also give it 1.5 stars. And just to add, I also didn't like that she realized she messed things up with Kai after she found out that he's this big money guy with his business.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Well, that's it for me.
Yeah. And
I'll also give it 1.5.
So,
I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, they can't all be home runs. What are you going to do? So there we go. And then our last one, which was a surprise that we weren't able to preview in our preview because we didn't know that it was a Countdown to Summer movie. We got from Friend to Fiance. And this stars Ryan Pavey, Jocelyn Hudden, I don't know how you say it, and Kelly Kruger. And it's basically about these best friends with her name was Jess, and best friends with this guy Ted, played by Ryan Pavey. And he announces he's getting engaged to Kimberly, who was the mean girl of their high school and who Jess hated. And so she is a wedding planner, and she's expected to basically plan the wedding of Ted and Kimberly, but she starts to realize that she actually has feelings for Ted. And I really liked this movie. I know I've read all the forums, people didn't like it, but I thought that Jocelyn was so cute. I loved her. She's a type of lead actress that I feel like you don't get that often in Hallmark. She was sort of nerdy, and she had this like really funny laugh, and I just thought she was so cute. And I thought that her and Ryan had great chemistry and were really fun. And I thought it just executed all the sort of beats of a romantic comedy really well. And you had sort of the miscommunications, and you had the tension between, you know, she's trying to be nice, but she can't help but kind of hate Kimberly, but also be warming up to her at the same time. I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was so cute. I have a few little nitpicks, but what did you think, Liana?
I liked it a lot too. I mean, I love the actress. She's so funny and she's so likable. Yes, I liked her in a couple other things too that she's been in. She's just quirky and it works, and I enjoy that. And Ryan Pavey, I mean, I don't need to say anything about that. But their chemistry was great, and it was just a fun movie. And I did like how you said that she didn't like what was the fiance's name again?
Kimberly, yeah.
That she didn't like her. She didn't want Ted to be with her, but as she's helping her plan it, their friendship blossoms a little bit, even though her friends, Kimberly's friends, get in the way. But it's still authentic.
Yeah, I don't know. And you have the big miscommunication where she thinks that she overhears her talking on the phone to her Kimberly talking to her dad, I think it was, and saying that she doesn't know if she's really in love with him, blah 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 blah. And so she thinks that she's talking to her ex, and to Kimberly's ex. And so I felt like it was convoluted and contrived, but I thought it was right on par for a romantic comedy. Like I could see basically that same situation happening with, you know, Sandra Bullock movie, a Reese Witherspoon movie. Like it I don't know. I really enjoyed it. And I wouldn't be surprised if this one was an acquisition, because there were just a couple things that I felt like, I don't know, we're just a little bit different than your typical Hallmark movie. Maybe that's why I found it so refreshing. But but what did you think, Megan?
I enjoyed the movie too. I also like Jocelyn. She was very bubbly, but I liked it. She was super cute. Ryan's Ryan. We all know he's great. I liked the Grams. She was a good addition.
She was fun.
She was fun, and I liked the story. I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what did you think of the whole paintball montage? Do you want to go?
That was fun.
Yeah, I think
like
so.
The action.
I think so too. And I just like little details, like the fact that she knew his coffee order. I mean, that is just and hot. Like in Hallmark, you have to know someone's coffee and hot cocoa order, like if you're meant to be. And
that is true.
I mean, it's definitely a huge trope of like, oh, they're friends all these years, but then they never really realized that they were meant for each other. But I like tropes and I like fun things, so I was fine with it. The only real flaw I have with this movie, for me at least, was I did feel like there were one too many sort of BFF characters, best friend characters, because you didn't really need to have the old guy, the old man, and her sort of college friends or something that were there, or high school friends, and then you had Kimberly's friends that were the worst. They were terrible, but and then she had, I don't know, she had a roommate, like a snarky roommate, and I'm like, there's too many people here. You just really need just one of those. They should have just had the old man be her, like
old
BFF.
man and
could see that.
Yeah. So yeah, and then she's planning the wedding, but she, makes mistakes like not reserving not taking the envelope with the reservation, which when you're this close up to the wedding is ridiculous. That would, you know what? And why would you have to mail it? This is not said in like 1985. Like, just call them,
take it.
give them your credit card. But it worked. I didn't care, and I really liked all the little scenes in the clubhouse, and I there were people online that were like, oh, she's so juvenile, she's like a child, and I'm like, whatever, I like clubhouses. If I had a cool clubhouse like that. And it is true that, like, if supposedly nobody had been in that clubhouse all that time, there wouldn't still be like stuff hanging out and stuff like that, but I don't care. I thought it was really cute, and I really loved at the end when she's trying to convince him to come to the wedding, and I just thought that had such nice tension. And he asked her if she has feelings and if he should, and she's like, I can't answer that. I can't answer the question for you if you should do this wedding. And it was just cute. I also liked when she was going undercover with the sunglasses, like hiding out the wedding.
Undercover.
Yeah, it was so funny. And I'm so excited for what's it, When Hope Calls or whatever with her.
Yeah.
Because I thought she was just so charming in this and in the few things that we've seen her in When Calls the Heart. And I mean, she just has this little sort of nerdy side to her that I really like. And so, yeah, that's my only real flaw with it is I did think it was a little cluttered, a little busy. But I really did enjoy it. And I thought that Kelly, as playing the mean girl reformed, did a good job.
Yes, I agree with that too, because it was like her friends wanted her to be the mean girl again, but she obviously was not that mean girl anymore. And she sold it really well.
Yeah. And I liked it at the end when she's just like, you two need to take a look at this situation because you're not being honest with each other. Like, that worked for me.
Yes, me too.
It was really good. And so, yeah, I give this one, is my favorite of the group. I'd give it 4.75 crowns. Maybe nice. I give it 4.5 crowns. I really enjoyed it. Right now I have it at 6. I have it just below Love, Romance, and Chocolate, and just before Sailing into Love. But my top 10 I like a lot. I have One Winter Proposal, Love at the Rescue, Love on the Menu, True Love Blooms, Love, Romance, and Chocolate, From Friend to Fiance, the only one that doesn't have love in the title. Then Sailing into Love, Flip That Romance, Paris, Wine and Romance, and Just Add Romance. So there you go.
That's a good list.
Yeah.
Very nice.
But Leanna, how many crowns would you give it?
I give it 4.75 crowns.
Great. Yeah, it's so good.
So good.
Yeah, it really is. I I don't know why I wavered. 4.75. It was so good. I
Yes.
loved it.
Yes.
It'll be on my it will be on my DVR for many, many, many time. And so I encourage Hallmark, keep making movies like this. This was so good. But
Yes,
Megan, what do
it
you
was so cute.
I give it, you know what, we're going to go 4.75.
Woo! Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, so yeah, I had all of these. The only one was Love of well, no. So I had my ranking of these. I had my favorite was From Friend to Fiance, then Sailing into Love, Paris White and Romance, and then A Feeling of Home, and then Love in the Sun was my least favorite. So pretty good set, I would say. So
I think so.
I agree.
mhm.
I have the same order as you.
All right, great. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on and talking about these. This was a lot of fun. I had a great time.
Thank you so much. We always have fun.
Well, how can people follow you on social media and all that fun stuff?
We are only on Instagram and Twitter, and it's at Hunks of Hallmark.
Yeah. And if you guys aren't following Hunks of Hallmark, you're really missing out. I look forward to it every day. I'm not even exaggerating. It's so fun. And we're excited for upcoming Christmas posts, Christmas in July. That should be fun.
Yes. Yeah. And there's new movies now, right? For July?
Two new movies,
I'm
one
excited.
on each of the channels. So that's going to be really good.
Yeah,
and the Christmas camp was they had it made last year, but now they're finally airing it. And it is by the same people who did the Christmas Prince on Netflix. So it should be interesting.
Oh.
It's the same writer. So that'll be interesting to see what the Christmas camp. I want to go to because in the whole description it was very unclear of whether Christmas camp is some kind of training ground or some kind of not rehab, but punishment. Like you have to go to 5 weeks of Christmas camp as punishment. But anyway, so it should be good. And so let us know if you're listening what you thought of these movies, how many crowns you would give them, and if you enjoyed this whole countdown to summer bit, please let us know. That would be really fun on Twitter or in the comment section. That'd be great. And please follow us on social media, Hallmarkies Pod, all over Instagram, Twitter, all of that place. And if you're listening on iTunes, please give us your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that. And if you're listening on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and consider becoming one of our patrons. We have a whole secret Facebook group, and that is really fun, where people can share their opinions, and we can talk about all of these fun movies, and even more than Hallmark. It's really good, and we have exclusives and fun stuff. So check that out, and we also have our merch store, where we have all kinds of designs that we have really been enjoying. So it's at tpublic.com/Hallmarkies. So take a look at that. And so thanks again, girls. Really appreciate you coming on and talking about these movies.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll definitely have you on again soon.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.